Gives them some sense of a hopeful future.
If we do, it's mainly about the latest municipal level hijinks.
And we'll cover it for you. Everything's going to be fine. We've got you covered. My beard kept telling me, calm down, calm down.
In a story published November 18 in the New Republic magazine and at newrepublic.com, staff writer Nora Caplan-Bricker describes in detail what happened to a town and its residents when a long-distance oil pipeline ruptured, spilling Canadian tar sands oil into a neighborhood last spring in Mayflower, Arkansas. This is EntryPoint. I'm Richard Alcott.
You wrote that ExxonMobil's Pegasus pipeline burst in March? Yeah, and spilled, the figure was 210,000 gallons of Canadian heavy crude down in Mayflower, Arkansas. So tell me about this. Tell me about what happened down there in Mayflower, the incident. If you could describe the incident.
Sure. So in Mayflower, as you said, there was a pipeline running right by the community, an ExxonMobil pipeline that was about 65 years old. The pipeline had, for much of its history, run from south to north and carried American oil. As the Alberta tar sands in Canada has been developed, the company in the mid-2000s lost the direction of the pipe, sort of repurposed it to run north to south and carry this heavy bitumen, which is this really thick, sort of heavy crude that's mined in the Canadian tar sands from Canada down into the U.S. And when the pipeline burst last spring, that's the oil that it was carrying.
This is not like, people think of oil, they think of the motor oil that they put in their car. This is not the same kind of stuff. This tar sands oil is proposed to be carried in that Keystone pipeline from Canada to the Gulf of Mexico. It's the same kind of stuff as that. How is that different from oil that this pipeline was built to carry?
It's a heavier substance, for one. It has to be transported through a pipeline to be able to flow, because it's this sort of almost asphalt, like very, very thick substance. It has to be transported at very high pressures and temperatures, and it also has to be diluted with a sort of more gaseous material. And so some experts have hypothesized that causes pressure swings within the pipeline because of the gas mixed with this really heavy substance and the kind of wide variety of pressures inside the line. It's possible that exacerbated the age of the pipeline and the fact that it was already being used for a purpose that it wasn't designed for, and sort of caused the leak to occur.
And this number, this 210,000 gallons, it seems to me like that's a tremendous amount of material to be spilled in a town or near a town. So was the break actually in the town? So was it because, you've got in another part of the story you talk about oil running over people's lawns and into their houses?
Yeah, so the pipe really does run right through the town. So, I spoke to one person who's not even in the neighborhood where the spill occurred, but she now has like a flag planted on her lawn that says the pipeline runs right here. And so her concern is, well, I'll never be able to sell this property that I don't want to live on anymore because the pipe literally runs right under it, and I'd have to disclose that to anybody who's interested. And so in the area where it did rupture, that wasn't a residential neighborhood. So actually they've raised a number of houses in that neighborhood because they wanted to clean up the oil that had got into the foundations. So I think that gives you a sense of the way that this bitumen really flowed over people's lawns, into their houses. It's really heavy, so it really kind of sunk right into the foundations and got trapped in this residential neighborhood.
Nora Caplan-Bricker is a staff writer for the New Republic based in Washington, D.C. You've been listening to EntryPoint,